one of the world's most sought-after tenors, Russell Thomas, has sung on some of the most prestigious stages across the globe, and he is back at the Lyric Opera of Chicago in Pagliacci. And joining us now is none other than Russell Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am well.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Look, so for folks who might not be as familiar with Pagliacci, you're portraying the original sad clown, right? Can you tell our listeners more about the opera?
Well, there's a story of betrayal, and in a modern term, we have we call grooming. This man raised this young girl from poverty, and he started to marry her or have a relationship with her and eventually married her. And she then realizes that she's being held captive, and she meets someone that she's in love with and wants to leave, and he kills them both.
You know, tale as old as time. You know, and then
Crime of passion. We've all seen Nancy Grace,
right?
Yes, we have.
Well, I guess that fits in because it is a part of a murderous double feature with Cavalleria Rusticana and, of course, Pagliacci. It's cleverly known as Cav Pag. So, how are the two operas the evening? How is that in conversation with one another?
because they're both essentially lovers betraying their partners, and somebody gets killed at the end of each one. They sort of go well together, you know.
You know, opera. Someone dies at the end. You know, like that's what happens.
Absolutely.
How did you get your start in opera?
It's a long story, but I can make it very short.
Okay.
When I was very young, around 8 years old, I heard opera for the first time on the radio. I didn't know what it was, but every day I came back to that same radio station as a kid. It was a public broadcasting station, and listened to the opera being played on the radio. When I was in high school, a woman heard me sing and said that I could be an opera singer. And I thought that was the most amazing thing in the world. And I took her up on that offer and went to school for it and started having success pretty soon after.
Wow. Oh, all right.
How old were you when you started taking lessons?
I was 18 and a freshman in college.
All right. Do you remember, like, when you were 8 years old, what the first opera was that you heard? Or was there one that, like, as a kid that you would just listen to over and over again?
I mean, I always listened to all the divas, but I don't remember what opera it was when I first heard opera. I believe it was something with Birgit Nilsson and Placido Domingo, and I remember those names very vividly, but I'm not sure what opera it was.
Okay. All right. You know, there we go. One of the things that's so wonderful about opera is the grandeur of it, and also, but at the core, it's, as you were saying, it's very. It's emotional, the very simple emotions, like the story that you were telling about the journey that you were going on in Pagliacci that's now playing at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. How do you prepare? I mean, I know vocally you clearly you've sung all over the globe. You are one of the most sought after tenors. But as from an actor perspective, how do you prepare for the emotional heft of a role?
I'll put it to you like this. I think there's some operas that are about fantasy, and there's some operas that are about real life. But even in those fanciful stories or the real stories, there are emotions that we've all experienced before. I've experienced betrayal. I've never killed anybody, I promise.
Not yet. Not yet.
But listen, I'm still young. But these are all stories, or these are all emotions that I think that as an audience member or even as an actor, singer, that we've all experienced. I've experienced betrayal. I've experienced heartbreak. So I think it's easy to just tap into my own personal experience to bring these characters to stage.
And I'm sure the music is also an aid as well into embodying it. Like, what must that feel like to be standing on the stage of the Lyric Opera of Chicago with that orchestra and having that music just kind of not only fill the hall, but just kind of fill you as a vessel. What is that like?
It's an experience that I can't really describe.
Yeah.
The most important thing for me is when I get on that stage, especially a historic stage like that of the Lyric or the Metropolitan Opera or any of these great stages that we've all heard of before. I try to remember that there are so many people that have come before me that I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. And I try to do as much as I can to be real and honest in the music, but it's one thing to hear the orchestra just wave of music rush over you. It's a feeling that I'll never get tired of.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
There's so much emotion that is involved in the characters that you portray. Does some of that emotion stay with you after the show's over?
Absolutely. Not in this show so much because, again, I've not killed anybody.
Right. You can put that off.
There's some operas that I've performed, like Othello, for instance. It's also one of those crime of passion things, but over the course of the night, he's being betrayed by everyone around him. And when I'm performing that character, at the end of the night, I feel exhausted. I feel like I've been run over by a bus. And it's hard for me to come down, and when I do, I usually sleep for maybe 15 hours after a show. It's a really intense experience.
Yeah, I mean, opera is emotional like nothing else you ever see on stage when it comes to the singing and the acting, the combination of the two. Is there any role that you haven't sung yet that you've been really wanting to tackle?
Two of them, but one of them is Peter Grimes by Benjamin Britten. It's a story of an outcast who gets misunderstood by everybody, but he sort of leans into it and he doesn't care. And it's something that I sort of feels like I could relate to in a bit. And I would love to sing that role, but it's a big production, very expensive, and a lot of companies don't do it.
But maybe someday someone's listening.
I know someone's out there.
Right.
Put the funds out there for you to do it. You never know. Got to put it out there, right?
Absolutely. I say it all the time. I repeat it all the time that is the opera that I want to sing. And hopefully one day somebody will listen and make it happen.
All right. Peter Grimes, everybody. And there we are. So in the life of an opera singer, it's got to be not without its challenges. But what you just mentioned, the 15-hour sleeping recovery, how do you protect your vocal instrument?
A lot of singers are recluse. We stay in the house all day. We don't go around other people. We try not to be on public transportation. At least me and a lot of my colleagues, that is the case. Drink a lot of water and mind your business.
That is actually a good philosophy for everyday life. Just drink a lot of water and mind your business.
Exactly. but it's difficult. Some of us have kids. Like I have an 11-year-old son that I don't get to see a whole lot when I'm traveling extensively. So it's a very difficult life. It's difficult to maintain relationships because you're always gone, and that makes people uncomfortable.
Where is home base for you?
Home base for me is Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, gotta love the ATL. So what is it like when you and your son are reunited? How is that?
It's great. We play a lot of video games. We play a lot of video games, and we do things together. I prepare dinner, and I take him to school and pick him up from school, and all of those things. And my mom sort of stands in the gaps when I'm gone. I do that with him when I get home.
Nice. Russ, as an openly gay man, and you're in a medium that's been traditionally conservative over the years, are there changes that you would like to see in opera to reflect more of who you are as a person?
I think opera has always been a sort of welcoming space for queer people and people on the outsides. It hasn't historically been so welcoming to Asians and Black folks. Like that is changing, and that is becoming more a space for us. But I think opera is doing well. I would love for more people to know that opera is an open and welcoming space. And although it started as something for aristocracy, and yes, the prices are expensive sometimes, but you can still get a ticket for $25 at places like the Lyric. I want people to know that it is a space for everybody. And unfortunately, I don't think we as ambassadors and opera singers and artists and companies have really shown people enough that opera is for everybody, no matter what your socioeconomic background is.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the state of of new opera, of new works, because a lot of, you're performing, Pagliacci, which has been around since the 19th century. Do you think that newer, more contemporary operas are working to expand the notion of who opera is for and who can be in opera?
Absolutely, but then we create another issue though, and that is of typecasting, because generally young Black composers, young Asian composers, young Latino composers are writing their stories and stories that they relate to, and it usually includes Asian, Black, and Latino people. And what happens is those minority groups are usually relegated to only singing those things. And that can become dangerous, because then a little Black boy like me from Miami would never be able to sing Canio and Pagliacci, because I would have to sing Porgy and Bess and whatever other modern new opera that has a Black character.
Oh, wow. So you feel that typecasting is still alive and well in the world of opera, or could be? Absolutely.
It is alive and well. And unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, we all want new works. The only way this art form survives is if we be inclusive and we make new works. And those things are happening, right? But we don't want to say that the Asian guy can only sing the Asian role and the Black guy can only sing the Black role.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this starts to become a thing if we're not careful about it, and if companies aren't careful about the projects that they put on and the commissions.
So I guess, so how do we change that? I mean, I guess, is it a question of leadership of the artistic, at the top of these organizations, or is it just powerful performers like yourself coming forward to be like, no, I can sing this role. I can sing many roles. You just have to have vision.
I think it has to be all of us coming together and saying, yes, we need the great Damien Jeter to write a new opera, but those cast members who are cast in that new opera should also be able to sing I Pagliacci. And I think having that dialogue and making sure we're creating works and spaces for everybody to tell their stories is very important.
And it's happening more in theater too. I mean, there's colorblind casting and gender blind casting that's going on more and more. So I would imagine opera will follow suit,
I hope so.
Yeah, because we're seeing it a lot. Just out of curiosity, Russell, when you're not singing opera, what do you like to listen to?
I listen to a lot of hip hop.
Like who?
2 Chainz,
okay.
And some very people who, I'm from the South, so I love a lot of Southern rap.
Yeah.
So a lot of Atlanta rappers, a lot of Memphis rappers, a lot of Florida rappers. I listen to them a lot.
Like a little Outcast being thrown around.
Atlanta's got a rich history of rap.
There we
It
go.
really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
Does Missy come in there at all? She's from Virginia.
Well, Missy is a legend, so we gotta love Missy Elliott.
Scott loves Missy.
All right, Russell. There we go. That's what we need. We need Missy Elliott to come up with an opera.
I think that would actually work, or at least design one.
Yes,
at least design one, because her designs and her work has always been so brilliant. I think designing one and the concept would be awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
Very cool.
Girl, okay, real quick. Sorry, now I got to talk about Missy Elliott for a quick hot second. Did you see her last tour?
I did not.
Oh, okay. You are
Scott
right on the nose. I'm still
from
tingling about this. It was a year and a half ago, and I'm convinced that she needs to do a show at the Sphere. But I think she might accidentally kill people because the visuals would be too overwhelming.
Love it.
But you are not accidentally killing people on stage. You are totally killing people on stage with passion and love. What do you hope when people come to see the evening that is collectively known as Cav Page, now playing at the Lyric Opera?
What do I? What was the question?
What do you hope that people are leave with when they just a thrilling experience? Learning,
absolutely a thrilling experience, and notice that these stories, even though this story was 100+ years old, that these stories are still things that are happening today. It's probably not a traveling clown troupe like in Pagliacci, right. And it's probably not in Sicily like in Cavalleria di Sicana, but people are committing crimes of passions, and there are people who are being betrayed, and these are timeless stories.
A tale as old as time, yes.
A tale as old as time, absolutely.
Well, hey, make sure don't miss Russell Thomas in Pagliacci, part of the Cav Pag evening at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. For tickets, head to lyricopera.org. Russell Thomas, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your time here in Chicago, and toy.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.